Every month, we get together with the Small Business Development Center at Illinois Wesleyan University. Karen Bassoni is the director there, and we'll hear from her in just a few minutes. And normally we would do this next week, but it's a holiday week, and they're not available next week. So we thought we'd move it up to today, and today we're going to talk to 3 Illinois Wesleyan students who are part of the program who developed a crisis management plan, a real one, for some real local businesses. So let's bring in, from Illinois Wesleyan, Maria Pales, Rosemary Josenkowski, and Sarah Garces. Now, they're all 3 on different teams, and I think there are 9 teams total, and they were introduced to these local businesses. And I guess, ladies, you can explain this better. I don't know who wants to go first. I'll just say Maria so we don't have any confusion. Explain the process. What did you have to do? You talk to these businesses, find out what it is that they're looking for, and then you go back and develop a plan and present it to them. Is that right?
Yes. So it kind of was a semester-long project. So we started from the beginning with a lot of research as far as kind of how small businesses operate, and then interviewed some as well, especially talking to them about their experience with COVID and how they dealt with that as a crisis. And then from there, it was kind of trying to figure out what small businesses, kind of what information they need right at hand if a crisis does occur, and kind of how to better prepare for that. And then eventually created our template.
Yeah, you're getting some real-life, real-time training on how to deal with a crisis, because after all of these businesses are dealing with what would be for a business owner a real-life crisis. Rosemary, what did you learn from this?
I'm a bio major on a pre-med track, and my biggest experience, especially working at a podiatrist's office, is a medical office is a small business as well. And when you're faced with a crisis, it means taking care of your employees as well. And that was a big part of our template, is making sure that your employees are taken care of, because that's just as important to the business as the business services.
Sarah, what were the businesses that you were dealing with? I think you were all presenting to the same businesses. Explain what the businesses were. Because they're all different businesses. They all provide different services. In some cases, they're food service. In some cases, they're not. Talk about that, and then how you approach this whole thing.
Yeah. So we interviewed Beardnuts, we interviewed Uptown Gifts, and then we did C services, or C Corp services. And so they were in different industries. So they were in food, they were in retail, and then they're obviously IT. And so when we interviewed them, we obviously had to take different approach within each industry. So, we had to do a lot of research on them, and then going back and writing our template, it was kind of nice because we were able to understand how different industries were impacted, especially with COVID. So that was really helpful. And at the end presenting, I think overall, businesses really take into consideration, I think, fundamentally, their employees, how to get through business or how to get through crisis. And so it was really nice kind of understanding their approach on crisis as well.
We're talking with Maria Pales, Rosemary Josenkowski, and Sarah Garces, 3 Illinois Wesleyan University students involved in the Small Business Development Center at Illinois Wesleyan. Their job was to develop a crisis management plan and then present it to local businesses after talking with those businesses and seeing what it is those businesses were trying to accomplish here during the crisis of COVID, which has really been a one-of-a-kind crisis for local businesses, one they've never dealt with before. In some cases, you're talking about restaurants or food service people who can't have people in their business. They have to figure out a new way to get their product out to those people. Any of you now, just as we wrap things up in this first segment, what did you find it to be, and I think I may have asked this a little bit earlier, so one of you can chime in who hasn't answered this question. First of all, how receptive were the businesses to the respective plans that you presented, and what did you find to be the most difficult part of this?
I guess I can say it was really wonderful, working with the businesses. Firstly, how willing to help us they were with our interviews and asking all the questions that we had for them. But then also afterwards presenting kind of our final products with them. It was amazing to see how grateful they were and how much they actually thought that they could utilize the templates that we created. So it was super exciting to actually create something in a college class, but that can actually be utilized by real people, real businesses outside of the classroom.
I think you just presented these plans, what was it, yesterday? So were these businesses, they're going to implement this stuff, do you know?
Some of them are. It depends. So we have, it's actually a small contest between the class to have the best template, and the top 3 templates will be presented to these businesses officially with use with the SBDC.
All right. More information about the Small Business Development Center at Illinois Wesleyan University is available at mcleancosbdc.org. Maria, Rosemary, Sarah, thanks for being part of the segment today, and good luck. Good luck to the businesses you're working with. I imagine this is just the start of your relationship with them.
Thank you.
We'll take a break here, and then we'll come back with the director of the SBDC, Karen Bassoni, on WJBC. Let's hop back into our Small Business Development Center at Illinois Wesleyan University segment. We're now joined by Karen Bassoni, the director of the SBDC, for her Small Business Tip of the Month. And as you might guess, based on the first part of the segment, the importance of crisis management planning is the small business tip. But, how do you do that, Karen? Because you don't know what the crisis is going to be, so you don't know how to react to it. That's tricky.
Yeah, you're right, Mark. And first of all, I want to say thank you for having me and having the SBDC again, this segment. It's, how do you know how to do that? That's why it's important to plan and try to plan for what the unknowns could be. And one of the first steps is to have all the most important information that's related to your small business in one place, if you will. And a lot of small businesses don't have that. And it takes time to put something together that's meaningful to bring all of their data and important information together. And that's what this project was designed to do, was to help small business get that important information organized, whether it's lists of suppliers, wherever those suppliers are located, their employees and information about their employees, maybe banks they have loans with, insurance agents, you name it. Maybe it's information about their website and contacts they need to have to do updates if there's a significant outage. Maybe the outage is with a supplier that's 100 miles away, but that's a key supplier to that business. And what are we going to do to pivot quickly? We have all this information centrally located. We can perhaps, as a small business, make those decisions more quickly. Industry experts, this is interesting, they suggest that small businesses use that 3-2-1 rule for backup files and crisis management planning. They recommend to make at least 3 copies of your information that you have once it's all consolidated into one document. Put it into 2 different formats. So however you want to format it, put it in 2 different formats, and then have 1 copy stored off-site, away from your business, wherever that is. So that's the 3-2-1 rule that experts recommend for small business as it relates to their crisis management planning.
All right, now we've got about a minute left. In that time, see if you can squeeze in some of your upcoming events that'll help any small business in the area that wants to take part.
Great, thank you. So we have 2 events coming up. Tuesday, December 1st, Digital Marketing Made Easy with Ashley Sang. She's a content strategist and copywriter. It's a webinar, and we'd ask people to register on the SBDC site for that, as well as on Wednesday, December 9th, we have How to Start a Business in Illinois, sponsored by Flanagan State Bank, from 11 to 1 p.m., and that's also a webinar. And again, register on the SBDC website at www.mcleancosbdc.org.
And you can also find the SBDC on Facebook at IWUSBDC. Karen, thanks for being with us this month, and have a great Thanksgiving.
And you as well, Mark. Thank you.
Karen Bissoni. Yes, Karen Bissoni, the director of the Small Business Development Center at Illinois Wesleyan University on WJBC.